Okay, we're going to carry on our learning about angles. So, we are learning about angles. Team Classroom?
We are learning about angles.
Team Online? Everybody together. We are learning about angles. So, some key vocabulary. Remember, acute angles are?
Less than 90.
Less than 90. They are cute, they are small. Okay, so an acute angle is less than 90. Right angles are 90. They are equal to 90, and remember they are marked in a different way to the rest of our angles. They are marked with a square rather than part of a circle. Obtuse angles are?
More than 90, less than 180.
So more than 90 but less than 180. Okay? Why are they less than 180? What is an angle that is 180? It is a straight angle. There we go. Straight angles are 180 degrees. Remember, and I keep saying it myself. I was watching my video back last night and I was like, I don't say it degrees. So we need to remember it's 180 degrees. We are saying degrees. Reflex angles
Are more than 180 and less than 360 degrees.
So they are more than 180, so more than a straight angle, but they are less than 360 degrees, okay? So one full turn is 360 degrees. So if you go all the way around this protractor, it is 360 degrees, not 180, 360, okay? So the whole way round, and we mark it just like we do with our clock when we go back to, well, our 24-hour clock, when 0 is 12 a.m., but we say 0, 0, 0. Okay? So it's going all the way back to the beginning. So it's actually 300, even though it's on 0, it's actually 360. So, let's find our missing numbers. In Team Classroom, you can just call out these answers for me. 345 plus what is 360? 15. 335 plus 25, not 20, 25 is 360. Because remember, if we only added 20 to 335, it would only be 355 because we're not adding anything to the ones. Okay? 325 add 35 is 360. 315 add 45 is 360. 285 add 75 is 360 because 285 plus 15 would be 300 and 300 add 60 is 360. 60 and 15 is 75. Yes?
Why is there an exclamation mark?
I think it's just drawing our attention to the fact that the pattern is changing. Because here you've got them subtracting from 300 and something, and here they are subtracting from 200 and something. So it's just to draw your eye to show you that the pattern is changing. Okay? 275 plus something is 360. 85. 265 plus
95.
is 360. And 255 add 105 is 360. So using what we have here, because we know that subtraction is the inverse of addition, can we complete these statements? 360 subtract 75 is 285. Look, we've got it here. 285 add 75 is 360. 360 subtract 75 equals 285. 360 subtract 85 is
275.
360 subtract 95 is
265.
265. 360 subtract 105 is
255.
255. Look, we've got our exclamation mark. Our pattern has changed. Pay attention. 360 subtract 135.
225.
225. 25 and 35 is 60. 100 and 200 is 300. 306 add 60 is 360. Okay? 360 subtract 145.
115. 220.
Is it going to be 115 when this is 225? This is 10 more than this, so this is going to be 10. 215, 10 less. If our add end is 10 more, okay, oh, sorry, not add end, subtrahend. If our subtrahend is 10 more, is it subtrend or minuend? Whichever this one is. I think it's a subtrend. If that is 10 more, then our difference is going to be 10 less, okay? So 360 minus 155 equals,
105.
it's not going to be 105, because this is 10 more, so this is going to be 10 less, 205. And 360 subtract 165 is going to be
195.
195. Okay, so here we have two angles on a full protractor. So this is a full turn. So everything has to add up to what?
180.
Not 180, because that's on a straight line. 360. So we need to find angle B and angle D. But before we can find angle B, oops, helps if I have my pen on. Angle B and angle D. What do we need to do first?
This is like what C and A is.
Find out what A and C are. So what is A? What is angle A?
70.
70. So angle A equals 70. 70 what? Degrees. So how are we going to find angle B?
360 minus 70.
360 minus 70. You couldn't see that on camera, but it was a thumbs up. 360 minus 70. So angle B, oops, equals 360 degrees minus angle A. Okay? So 360 minus 70. 360 degrees minus 70. What's that going to equal?
290
Equals 290. 290
degrees.
degrees. What type of angle is A?
Acute.
Acute. What type of angle is B?
Obtuse.
Not obtuse, because obtuse is up to 180. Reflex. Okay, so therefore, how are we going to find? So we found A and B. How are we going to find C and D? What do we need to do first?
I know what C is.
Find out what C is. So what is C?
190 degrees.
C, angle C equals 190 degrees. So angle D is going to equal what? What calculation do we need to do?
360 degrees take away 190.
360 degrees minus 190 degrees, which is going to equal what?
280 degrees.
Not 280.
70.
It won't be 280 because 100 add 200 is going to be 300. So that's going to be, would make that 390, which is too much.
Oh,
100 and,
80.
not 80, because 90 add 80 is 170. 70, 170.
Degrees.
170 degrees. Look, if I show you up here, 360 minus 190. 0 minus 0 is 0. 3 minus 6 we can't do, so we need to exchange. So we're going to exchange one of our hundreds. We're left with 2 hundreds, and we're going to exchange it for 10 tens and add it to the tens we already have. So 10 add 6 is 16. Oops. Oh dear. So we now have 16 tens. 16 subtract 9 is 7. And 2 subtract 1 is 1. So that's why it's 170. Okay? So let's do that again. Can we find the angle? What have we got to do first?
Find
Find A. What is angle A then?
85 degrees.
85 degrees. So angle A. Because I keep touching my hand, that's on the board, that's why. So angle A equals 85 degrees. So angle B is going to equal
360 degrees take away 85 degrees.
360 degrees subtract 85 degrees, which will be
275.
275. Okay, there we go. C and D. How are we going to find the angles on C and D? What's 155? C. So for C, we can just read it from the scale on the protractor, can't we?
Yeah.
So C is 155 degrees. How are we going to find out what D is?
360 degrees, take away 155 degrees.
360 degrees, subtract 155 degrees. My class know this, but I always say if we're not actually physically taking something away, if we're not using resources, we should be trying to say subtract or minus rather than take away. Because take away is you're physically doing something. We're not got 360 things and we're not taking 155 things away from them. We haven't got that in our hands, have we? So subtract or minus. So what is the correct answer? 205. Because 55 plus 5 is 60, and then at 200 add 100 is 300. Okay? This one's a bit different. How do we find angle C on this? What do we first need to do? Yes?
Add the angle A and angle B together.
Yeah, we add A and B together because we know that this is going to equal 360. Okay? It's done a full turn. We know it's going to equal 360. So to find our missing angle, we're going to add the two that we already know together. So A plus B equals...
175 degrees.
So there's a calculation. 360 minus 80 minus 95 equals 360 degrees minus 175 degrees. So what is the answer?
It's 200.
It won't be 200 because, listen, it won't be 200 because if you added 200 to 175, it'd be 375. So it's too much.
185
185 degrees. We need to remember that unit of measurement. So how are we going to do C? What calculation are we going to do to find, sorry, not C. We know E, we know D. How are we going to find F? Yep.
360 degrees, take away 55 degrees, take away 25.
Subtract 55 degrees, subtract 25 degrees. So 360 degrees, oops. 360 degrees, subtract 55 degrees, subtract 25 degrees equals 360 degrees minus 80 degrees, which equals 200, it will be 200. 280 degrees. Okay? And just to prove it, here's our illustration. So we've now lined up our baseline of our protractor, R0, with the start of angle F, and we can follow it round to the end of angle F, and it's 280 degrees. Okay, same idea. So one more time. How are we going to find C and how are we going to find E? So how are we going to find C, first of all? Can you talk me through what we're going to do? So we have to add A and B together. Yeah? So, well, firstly, we 360 subtract 65, subtract 80. So C equals the total minus A minus B. Okay, so then we can do 360 minus A plus B, which is 145. So what's our missing number going to be? What's our answer? 215. 215 degrees. We need to remember that unit of measurement, don't we? Okay, so can you talk me through this next one then? What have we got to do? How are we going to find E? Add F and D and F. So we're going to do 360, subtract 75, subtract 45. Okay, so what is 75 add 45?
120.
120. So we're going to do 360, subtract 120, what? Degrees. And what's our answer going to be then?
240.
240 degrees. See? It's quite easy actually once you understand what you need to do, isn't it? It's quite straightforward. Okay, so we're going to look at dividing our circle into equal parts and finding the angles. So the angles at the centre of each circle are the same. Find the angles. So how many parts has this shape been divided into? 6. So to find the angle of each part, what do you think we need to do?
Use a protractor.
We could use a protractor, but if we didn't have a protractor, the children at home, they don't have protractors. So how could we do it without a protractor?
Just draw a circle in the middle.
Okay, but that's still not going to tell us how to find each part, is it? What do we know about angles on a circle? They all add up to 360. And think back to yesterday when we had those 4 times c, didn't we? And what did we do? We divided. So if each part is the same, so we have 6 identical angles. So we're going to divide our total, which is 360, divided by the number of parts, which is 6. Okay, so 360 divided by 6 is 60. So each of those sections are 60 degrees. Okay, and we can see that on our protractor. 0 to 60, 60 to 120, 120 to 180, 180 to 240, 240 to 300, and 300 to 360. So how then would we do this one?
8 divided by 360.
Not 8 divided by 360, 360 divided by 8. Okay, you start with the total. Yeah? So we know they add up to 360. There are 8 parts, so we're going to do 360 divided by 8. And what answer would that give us? What's 36 divided by 8? 8, 16, 24, 32, and then a bit. So it's 45. Okay? So it's 45 degrees. So, and again, we can see that 0 to 45, 45 to 90, 90 to 135, 135 to 180, 180 to 225, 225 to 270, 270 to 315, 315 to 360. So, we're going to think about this question now. The clock needs to show 2 o'clock. How many degrees does the minute hand need to travel? How many degrees does the hour hand need to travel? So, to move, what time does it currently show? It doesn't show 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. It currently shows 1 o'clock. We want it to show 2 o'clock. So what has the minute hand got to do? It's got to go the whole way round to move on an hour, doesn't it? So if the minute hand is going all the way round the clock, how many degrees is it going to move? 360. What does the hour hand need to do? What does the hour hand need to do? It needs to move from 1 to 2. Okay, how are we going to figure out how many degrees that is? What do we know about the divisions on a clock? They are equally spaced. So we can use what we did on the previous slide. How many parts will there be on that circle? 12. There'll be 12 identical angles, won't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we would need to do 360 divided by 12 to show us that angle. So what is 360 divided by 12? It is, it's 30. So, 30 what? Degrees. How many degrees does the hour hand need to travel then to go from 1 to 2? 30 degrees. So, the minute hand has gone the whole way around the clock, so that is 360 degrees. The hour hand has gone from 1 to 2, which is 30 degrees. So on this one, the clock needs to show 3 o'clock. How many degrees does the minute hand need to travel? What time does it currently show? 1 o'clock. So how many times round the clock does the minute hand need to go to move on 2 hours? Yeah, it goes all the way around the clock 2 times. So, how many degrees does the minute hand need to travel? Is going to be 2 times 360. 720 degrees. Okay, and then how many degrees does the hour hand need to travel? Hang on. So the hour hand is going from 1 to 3. So each of those degrees, each time it goes to the next number is 30 degrees. So how many degrees has it travelled to go from 1 to 3? 60. 2 times 30. Okay? So this time it's to go from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. The minute hand has gone round the clock, the whole way around the clock twice. So it's done 360 degrees twice. So we would do 360 times by 2. And the hour hand has moved 2 hours, and we know that each hour is 30 degrees. Okay? So let's have a look at this one. The clock needs to show 1:30. How many degrees does the minute hand need to travel? And how many degrees does the hour hand need to travel? So, is the minute hand going to go the whole way around the clock?
No.
No. How far around the clock is it going to go?
Halfway.
It's going to go halfway. So what is half of 360?
130.
Not 130. Think about our angles on a straight line. What do they add up to?
190.
Not 190 either. We did this yesterday. Okay, so 360.
180.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, 360 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one time. We've got with 1 left over. 2 goes into 16 8 times, and 2 goes into 0 0 times. So it's 180 degrees. Okay, halfway around the clock is 180 degrees. How many degrees does the hour hand need to travel? Well, is the hour hand going to go the whole way to the next hour?
No.
No, what is it going to do? It's going to go
Halfway.
halfway. So if it's going halfway between 1 and 2, it's going half of 30, isn't it?
15 degrees.
15 degrees. There we go. So this time the clock needs to show 2:30. How many degrees does the minute hand need to do? So to show 2:30 on our clock, what does the purple minute hand need to do? How many times round the clock does it need to go?
2 and then halfway.
Not 2, because 2 would take it to 3, and it's only 2:30. So it goes round 1 full time and halfway round again. So it'd be 360 plus 180 degrees. And 0 add 0 is 6 add 8 is
6 and 8 is
14. Okay, 3 add 1 is 5. So it has travelled, how much has it moved round?
540 degrees.
540 degrees. Now, how many degrees does the hour hand need to travel? So the hour hand is going from 1 to halfway between 1 and halfway between 2 and 3.
45.
45 degrees, because this part is 30. We already know that, we worked that out before. So this part is halfway, which is 15, and 30 add 15 is 45. Okay? So this is very similar, okay, without all the words. What is A and what is B?
A is
What do we know? We've already worked out that each angle between the numbers is 30. Oops. Okay, so this is 30, this is 30, this is 30, and this is 30. So if we add them all up together, we get 120 degrees. So if we know that A is 130 degrees, and what do we know about how many degrees there are in a full circle? How many degrees are there in a full circle? 360. So we know that this is 120. What's this one going to be?
360.
No, it can't be 360. We've got to add up to 360. Not 280, because 280 add 120 would be 400.
140.
Not 140, 240. Okay? So you need to think about, you need to do 360, subtract 120. 0 subtract 0 is 0. 6 subtract 2 is 4. And 3 subtract 1 is 2. Okay? So then what is C going to be?
C would be
How many 30 degrees are there going to be?
120 degrees.
It can't be 120 because that's 120.
150.
150, why is it 150?
Because 30 more. Would it be 30 more?
Okay, or 5 times 30. Because, so as somebody said, well, it's 30 degrees more because it's gone one more number. Okay, so we know that this is 120, so this is 30. 120 add 30 is 150. Or we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 30 is 150. Okay? So C is 150. So if C is 150, what is D going to be? Yes? 210. Because it's 30 less than this. So this was 30 more, so this will be 30 less. Or 360, subtract 150. 0 subtract 0 is 0. 6 subtract 1 is 5. Sorry, 6 subtract 5 is 1. And 3 subtract 1 is 2. So 210 degrees. Okay, and here it is on a, just without all the numbers. 150, 210. Okay, one more time. Let's try that again. So what is this one going to be then? So we could do 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, not 220, 180 at 210. So if this is 210, what is this going to be?
That would be.
Yep. 150. So either you would do 360, subtract 210, 0 subtract 0 is 0, 6 subtract 1 is 5, 3 subtract 2 is 1, 150 degrees. Or, if we know that each number is 30 degrees, we can go 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. Okay? There we go. So then what is C and what is D?
300 degrees is C. No, D.
D is not 300 degrees. C is 300 degrees.
Oh,
Okay, because C is this one.
and then D.
So 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300. So C is 300 degrees. So D is going to be
60.
60, because 300 add 60 is 360. Okay? So, time for your independent task.